So another hairstyle that we're going to create, let me add its correction here. Let's call it fade curl hairstyle. The main important thing in this hairstyle, we want to learn how to use texture to control different parameters of our hair, asset or hair modifiers. So by starting, it is fade curl hairstyle. We're going to make this hairstyle. So as usual, you need to select your scalp, then we go to shifting A, then you go to curve, empty hair. Our empty hair will take the name, correction name to fade curl hairstyle. Thereafter, you come to select your go to your modifier panel and add a new geometry node. We'll name it to fade curl hairstyle enable. By doing so, after selecting our fade curl hairstyle, go into scope mode, right, add this hairstyle. So we'll add, come to your density brush. So this is now. Remember to come here, if you change the size of your brush, of your strand, here it's 0.025. You can enable all of them. So I'll add and enable, remember to enable X symmetry. After doing so, after adding, you can even try to reduce the size and choose project. I want them the side to be short like this. And use your brush, your comb brush. So after finishing to comb your brush to sterilize it a little bit, another thing that you'll do, add as usual, interpolate node, come to hair, then generation, adding, interpolate node. Remember to select your object as hair scalp, remember to highlight your UV map name. Then in here, you will look for surface UV map, you look for name the attribute. Here you will paste the name of your UV map. It is called hair scalp. So you see, one hair strand has been added. Density you can put to 100,000. But before we added this interpret node, we need to add a right node. Hair curve profile, as always I said, it is 0.01. And in here we can even increase the density to 500,000. Yeah, this is enough. As you see, the hair have been clamped a little bit on the top, so I'll add a clamp node. Here, go to your guides, come to clamp. You see how the clamp is doing, but I'll reduce the guide distance. If you put 0, so maybe I want 0.01, 0.05. No, 0.05 too small. 0.01, let's say 0.01, 0.01 too large, 0.075. Yes. After doing, then you can increase even the tip. At the tip, it is so sharp, so we can spread a little bit. Spread your tip 0.01, too much 0.05, 0.001, and increase a little bit. Yes, like this. So another important thing, you see, our hair are curl. So you can take a look here, here. You see how curled they are. So what we'll do, and here we will add another node, look for guide, then come to curl hair curve, drop it here, and then remember to reduce the radius, let's say 0.01. You won't see the effect because here frequency is low, so we'll put frequency to 50. Then the radius is still big, so I'll reduce a little bit, 0.005. and curl start here. I don't want them to start at the root. I need them to be here on top. As you can see, the curl does not start from the root, but somewhere in between. So here I'll increase the start to 1, even 2. Then in here I can reduce the guide distance 0.1, 0.01, 0.05, offset 0.75, and we have factor start and factor end. If we increase the start to 2, you see bigger root compared to tip, so I'll leave at 1, but factor end, the tip is usually small, so here I'll reduce factor end 0.5. I'll get something like this. And another thing that I need to add here, let me add a material, and here we come to material, look for hair material, and here if you see your hair are not dense, you can increase here to 500,000. Let's make to 800,000. Yeah, this is enough. And if you think the radius is too small, you can increase here. Think the radius, curl radius is too small, I can increase here. Curl radius is here 0.75. See what we get? So we are done with the curl. So what next we want to stylize this, to cut this hair like this. We'll use a trim knot, come to trim, deformation, come down to trim hair curl. In here trim, we can use image texture to control the length of our hair. So first let's disable for a moment. I'll mute, and then I'll divide this. I'll copy fade curl hairstyle, and in here I'll choose this hair scarp. After choosing my hair scarp, I'll switch to texture paint. I need to have this style, and then here I'll move this texture because and I want this to be a paint. Let me first load the image. So over on top of your 3D panel, after going to texture paint, here there's texture slot. You can choose between material. In material, you'll have different options to add base color, speculation, roughness, metallic, normal, but in mode here I need to switch to single image. So here I'll put new, and in new I'll paste the name fade curl hairstyle, and maybe I want it to be white curl, so, and I need it to be 2K, so times 2, so it'll be 2048 pixel. Now we've already created our fade curl hairstyle. You can load it here, fade curl hairstyle. Now we need between white and the black. Remember, black is concealed, white is revealed. So whenever there is black color, the hair won't be visible, while where there is white color, hair will be visible. So let me use my brush and increase the length. So if it is like this, then I'll save fade curl hairstyle. I'll switch back to object mode, and I'll select my curl. In here, trim hair curve node, here I'll shift A, I'll search for texture image. In texture image here, I'll load fade curl hairstyle here, then I'll connect over here on the length. Another thing, in vector, I needed to add a UV map, so I'll look for named attribute. Here I'll choose the name of my texture, so the name of texture is hair scarp, so I can copy here and paste it here, or I can even connect to use this just one texture map. Enable it, you see how it is, but we can't control it, we need to add another slot. Let's shift A, come to your utilities, go to color, find for mix color. In mix color, down here, choose black. After choosing black, if you play with your factor slider, see the size of your hair starts to be reduced. 0.95. This is what we get. 0.99. So I'll leave it at 0.97. Thereafter, I need to choose my hair scalp and still go into texture paint because I want to control to have a good fade, not like this one. And I'll delete the rest. So first, come to my brush and paint white. Let me disable this for a moment. And in here, because I want just a fade, a gradient for from white to black, I'll use a fill brush. Then in properties here, there is between color and gradient. So I'll use gradient. You'll find it is here. So I'll use a gradient. See what we get. I want this to be cut, this area and just a little bit in here. So this is enough. Even here I can increase, so I'll switch to draw brush. And I don't want white, I need black, so I'll X. So I'll increase a little bit. And here on top, I can create. So in here, I'll save my image texture. Then I'll go to object mode. I'll unhide the other stuff. Then I'll load my fade hair curl hairstyle correction. You see, it has been updated. So even in here, I can switch to image editor, then paint. So you see how we can control it, or we can even duplicate this node. So it is here, fade curl hairstyle. I'll duplicate. After duplicating it, point fade hairstyle -2. In here, I'll choose scope, then go to texture paint. Here, remember to switch your fade hair curl hairstyle, put that too. And I want only to cut at this area from here to here. So what I'll do is I'll use a gradient, and even I can play with this like this. Then after doing so, I'll switch to draw. I want to draw white, so in here I can draw white, so up to this point. So I'll save this, save as. So I'll load it, I'll light. Then in here I'll load fade curl hairstyle dash. You see the difference? And another texture that I made previously, we can test Afro cut. You see how the Afro cut shows, and we can test maybe Afro cut hairstyle. You see this one, and another texture haircut. You can test mask. This one. So I use the fade curl hairstyle, or I can use Afro cut hairstyle, or I can use Afro cut. We'll stick with Afro cut, and we can even determine the number of curl, because this texture can even control the factor for the curl. So if I drop this here, even if I drop it here again on this factor, you see, we won't have curl in this area where the color is black, but most curl and the cramp will be appeared when where the texture is white. So you can cut them. And if we think that the length of our hair is too small, we can even increase it here, the length, maybe 2. Yes, remember not to exceed the threshold. So let's try 1.5. It's 1.5. The threshold is being exceeded here, so 0.25. So this is how you cut hair using the texture. And another thing that you can do, because if you take a look, you can even add a noise or a frizz to this hair. So, and here after the trim, you can come to your hair, then deformation, look for frizz. Let me disable it for a moment. We want the frizz to happen where the hair grows and not where the hair has been cut. So we'll use this image texture control, we'll input it into the factor. So we'll drop it from here, from the color image texture up to here into the factor, and then I'll enable it. You see we don't have frizz down here, and then we can even reduce 0.01. See what we get. Cumulative offset off. Let me try to preserve length. Leave it off. Enable cumulative offset. I'll decrease a little bit, 0.05. So this is how you control the length of your hair using the texture. As I said, the texture can be used to control a lot of things. Can be even to control these factors, control cramp. Maybe you just want to specify that the cramp to happen on top area, not on the fade. So you can input this texture to your factor. You see, you experience the difference. And maybe you want to control the curl, you can input this to the curl factor. You see here we don't have curl, but if we disable it, you see there is curl down here. So this is how you control the length of hair using the texture. The disadvantage of using this texture is that you won't have random hair. Maybe if you're going to scope, you see how I add random the length of hair. So if I go back, you see all hair are being maintained to have the same length, which is 1.25. So that I can say the disadvantage of using this texture. By doing so, you need to manual cut your hair, but all in all, it performs good.